Stephen A. Smith has hopped in here, and he's defending Joy Taylor and Skip Bayless, and I'm gonna. Dave Portnoy did the same thing, and I'm gonna unpack that as well. But let's play SOT number one here first of Stephen A. Defending Joy Taylor.
I don't know Joy Taylor that well. Even though she and I have interacted with one another on several occasions throughout her career, and I find her to be a consummate professional, very good at what she does, very capable, very knowledgeable about the world of sports and what have you. I also know that she's big on women empowerment, so it's hard to imagine her saying get over it. But again, I don't know.
Obviously, Stephen A. Smith is a fraud, in my opinion, and it's comments like this that expose him as a fraud. Here's I grew up in the streets. The drug dealers protected me. Everybody knew, hands off me, the drug dealers, and I'm a street guy from Hollis, Queens. This Negro has no street smarts. None. Zero. I'm calling it street smarts. He has no wisdom. None. Zero. She's for women's empowerment. I couldn't imagine her. What do you think women's empowerment is, Stephen A? It's using any and everything that a woman has to offer to get ahead. It's using any and everything that a woman has to offer to compete against men and to get men under their thumb. This is, the people that take Stephen A. Smith seriously and think he represents some sort of black masculinity or black empowerment or black anything. It's like, you are a clown that you can't see through. This dude is completely emasculated. He's propped up because he's a clown. He has no street smarts, no wisdom. His point of view is completely feminized. I don't know Joy Taylor that well, but she's really accomplished, and she says she knows this. He don't know nothing about her. He watched her show. He knows what I know, or I know a little bit more, but she got a big pair of cans and peanut butter skin, period. That's all he knows. Clown. Here he is. Let's play SOT number two, defending Skip Bayless.
I don't know what happened. But just like I said, I've known Jay-Z for 25 years. I can't imagine that. I've known Skip for just as long. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it, especially when they brought up the $1.5 million. The Skip Bayless I know has a hard time giving away $15. He's one of the cheapest people I know. That's just me. But that doesn't mean that I have any inside knowledge about any of this. I don't, and I'm not going to get involved. I think it's incredibly dicey and irresponsible for people who don't know to act like they do know. But in the same breath, I also feel it's important that if you know people or you think you know people and you've had a long-standing relationship with those people, that it's not a crime for you to say the person that I know, the person that I've been around, the person that I worked with in his case, for 4 straight years from 2012 to 2016 doing First Take every weekday morning at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. The person that I knew since our days at Fox Sports when we would appear on Jim Rome's show. Okay, The Last Word and stuff like that. And we were in the same Fox building off of Pico Boulevard and Avenue of the Stars. The person that I've seen that really, really trusts almost no one and doesn't expose himself to anybody. Eating the same breakfast and lunch every day. His vice is a Diet Mountain Dew, and he doesn't socialize with people. That's the guy I know. So imagining him being in this kind of position is shocking, to say the least. All I could tell you is that it's not the Skip Bayless I know.
Listen, this The reason I do this show is I'm just trying to pass on to young people and people my age, older, the wisdom that I have acquired. I'm just trying to share with you. That to me is part of our calling as Christians, is to share the wisdom that we have, I have. And so Stephen A. is saying, the person that I know, and he's trying to evaluate the person that I know. And I try to tell people, don't evaluate people, only God knows. Only God is capable of really evaluating people. And that's why the Bible instructs you not to judge people's motives, because you'll never know them. And so I try to stick to evaluating situations. And so if you evaluate Skip's situation, then it becomes like, oh, I could see how a man could fall here. And it's not personal. It's not about Skip. It's about what could a man do in this situation? Virtually anything. The Bible's crystal clear on that. Your life experience at me and Stephen A.'s age should tell you that any man is capable of falling if he puts himself in the wrong situation. Look at the way I handled Joy Taylor. It's like, oh boy, I know what I'm capable of. Let me avoid that situation. This is all very consistent. And this is how you should try to live your life. You have to understand who you are, your sin nature, and then avoid situations. And so for years, I've had friends that get married and then they'll make an off-the-cuff conversation. I'll never cheat on my wife. And I'll say, stop right there. Don't go into the marriage thinking this. You start, I'm not capable of cheating on my wife. That's a big sign to the devil and the enemies of your marriage, like, oh, I know how to get this dude. He thinks he's so righteous. He thinks he's so pure that he's incapable of this. And so he is the type of idiot who will put himself in all kinds of situations that will lead him to cheat. And he will not survive that. And so I tell my friends, I was like, no, don't do that. Commit right now to keeping yourself out of situations that will make it easy for you to cheat on your wife. You're going on the marriage journey, and it's a long, hard road. There will be times your wife will be sick. There will be times your wife will be pregnant. There will be times you and your wife don't like each other. And that might stretch 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 years. And the only way to prevent yourself from not cheating is don't put yourself in that situation. This is just common sense. So don't become best friends with a woman you work with, because your wife may be sick for a year and a half and may be incapable of having sex with you. And you become best friends with some girl at work, you got your backup plan. You're gonna fall. Some of you, your wife may go 6 days without having sex with you. And that's 5 days too long for you. But if you got some best friend at work who you're attracted to and you're in constant communication with, you've put yourself in position to fall. And so here's Stephen A. talking about, oh, the Skip Bayless I know, he would never do that. I'm like, well, how well do you know Skip Bayless? Because I want to play you this clip of Jay Crawford talking about the Skip Bayless he knew. Listen to this clip and then start evaluating what Nusheen is alleging here. Let's play shot number 3.
On the actual story where they came to blows, and I think it said they ended up outside the studio on the New York City streets. Like, that's not exactly how it happened. But I still got a big kick out of reading it, being there and watching it firsthand, because what happened in the meeting, it just randomly came up. Skip somehow leans back in his chair and he said, "I've had more sex than everybody in this room." And we were all looking at him like, first of all, what kind of thing is that to say? You know, like I said, we're not in junior high. Secondly, apropos of nothing we were talking about, Woody may have been, bragging about a conquest or something, and Skip just shoots him down by saying, "You have no idea." And
So Jay Crawford is talking about when they were doing the show First and 10, I think before First Take, Woody Page and Skip Bayless. And Skip Bayless is in the green room, dressing room, prep room, whatever, bragging, "Hey, I've had more sex than everybody." And so that clip is important because, as I told you all yesterday, as I walked you through, how could Skip Bayless get in a conversation where he suggested this new Sheen, the hairstylist, that, "Hey, I'll give you $1.5 million for sex." And I walked you through how, like, he's not talking about that as a one-off. We don't know the context. A lawyer has taken what Skip said and spun it into a different context. And so I walked you through yesterday how that was probably something where Skip and Nusheen were joking back and forth. And she said something about, "Well, so-and-so said they give me $1 million for this." And Skip probably says, "I'll give you $1.5 million. Joke. But now that the lawyers heard it, you put it in a lawsuit and it embarrasses Skip and it drives conversation and it brings more attention to the lawsuit. And as I walked you through yesterday, and this is before I saw the Jay Crawford clip, I was like, Skip got baited into a sexual Olympic with Shannon Sharpe. I said, you bring these athletes and mainstream them all the way through these television networks, now you got a locker room culture. And a locker room culture is a sexual Olympics. Athletes come in there bragging every day about who they banged and what they, and look, it ain't just athletes, but when it's not athletes, it's not the Olympics. The Olympics is the highest level of competition. The rest of us non-athletes, we participate in an NCAA version of the sexual Olympics. It's at a lower level. But Skip got baited into, I'm going to compete with an athlete that lives in the gym every day at 57, is all yoked up, swelled up, walks around the dressing room area in the smallest boxer shorts he can find and nothing else. I'm going to compete with that guy at 70 some odd years old. And that's how he ends up befriended, because him and Nusheen were very close. And again, this is the whole deal. You start getting close to these women on the job, and you're in a marriage or you're just trying to walk the straight and narrow, eventually you're going to fall. You're going to say things that will be used against you. And you got to approach these women in that environment. They're like the police. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a sexual harassment lawsuit. Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.